The little red caboose was a staple on American freight trains until the 1970s. 2 crew members were stationed on board this car to carry out 2 important duties. From this cupola, I can keep an eye on the entire train and look for any problems. One of the most common problems was the hot box, which is one of these axle bearings, runs out of oil and overheats. This is the axle. This brass piece sits on top of the axle and holds the weight of the train. As it spins, that needs to stay lubricated. If it runs dry, it can get so hot that the axle and this brass piece fuse together and the wheel stops spinning. In the worst case scenario, that can derail the train. My other duty on this caboose is to protect my train from following traffic. Now, before radio communication and automatic signals, trains were kept apart by a timetable that listed what time every train could be at each station. As long as we were on time, everything was fine. If we were delayed and stopped in the middle of nowhere, another train following me would have no idea we were stopped blocking their way. Whenever we made an unscheduled stop, I would immediately grab my flag and kit and get off the train and start walking. I might go a mile back. When I got there, I put down 2 torpedoes on the engineer's side rail. Torpedoes are small explosives that when you run one over, it explodes and makes a noise like a gunshot. That tells the engineer of that train to slow down and watch for a flagman. They'll find that flagman halfway between the torpedoes and this caboose, waving a red flag in the daytime or a red flare at night. If we're traveling less than half the speed limit, I have to drop a lit flare off the back of the train every 10 minutes. A train finding one of these burning by the side of the track has to stop and wait for it to burn out, thus giving us enough time to stay ahead of them. You won't find many cabooses out on the rails these days. New sensors beside the track can spot many more problems than I could ever see from my cupola. And now, trackside signals and radios have made dropping flares and waving red flags a thing of the past.